Seems like it just got worse for the Toronto Maple Leafs collective, who are going to be tuning in to this Stanley Cup final matchup between the Carolina Hurricanes and the Vegas Golden Knights. Now, this is not going to be an entire series preview video. We already did that the other day. I thought it was a pretty realistic way to dive into both of these teams and the situation. But let's talk today about Freddie Andersen and dive into how things have gotten worse for Toronto, plus how they've gotten even better for the Hurricanes. You see, I doubted Freddie Andersen at the beginning of this Eastern Conference Final series. Oh yeah, there was a lot of reason to doubt Freddie. Because in Game 1 versus the Montreal Canadiens, Frederik Andersen, he let in 5 goals on 21 total shots against. I understand the fact that he ended up getting a shutout in game number 4, but games 2 and 3 still featured some not really all too great save percentage numbers out of Freddie. .833 save percentage in Game 2, .846 save percentage in Game 3. Freddie Andersen was shaky in the first 3 games of the Eastern Conference Finals, despite winning 2 out of the 3. Now, again, we can talk about the similar elements that we had brought up in previous videos, the fact that games 2 and 3 were decided in overtime, and that the Carolina Hurricanes were able to come out on top. That's a really big factor as to how this series unfolded. Montreal could have easily have been up 3-0 in the series, then them losing 2-1 after 3 games like they were in real life. But we could very well say the Habs did not deserve to win games 2 and 3. They weren't shooting, and Freddie Andersen, he wasn't really being given a lot to do. With that said, however, when you combine everything together, round 1 against Ottawa, round 2 against Philadelphia, round 3 against Montreal, Frederik Andersen has a .928 save percentage in 12 games in the playoffs, 144 goals against, 3 shutouts, 11 wins, 1 loss, and he is now heading into the finals as one of Carolina's Conn Smythe-worthy players. Now, I would probably wager a bet and say there are other guys that deserve to be in that conversation too. In particular, Jackson Blake, Taylor Hall, Logan Stankoven, these guys, you could make a very realistic case for any of them to being the Conn Smythe winner, if Carolina wins the entire gosh darn thing, of course. But you can't deny Freddie Andersen and his .928 save percentage so far in 12 games. It's incredible. And if you wanted to dive into some of the other stats, hey, stats? We got stats. Take a look at what Thomas Drance went out there and said. Logan Stankoven is 23, and Jackson Blake is 22. These 2 guys will combine to take up $11.1 million against the salary cap for the next 8 years. Oh my goodness. That's a ridiculous low dollar amount for the caliber of play these guys provide. We had just looked at it. Jackson Blake has 13 points in 12 games. Ay, what a crazy line this is. Whether you're a contender or a rebuilder, this is the level of efficiency that you're up against into the midpoint of the next decade. What's the skill set that allows that front office to make these types of bets with that level of efficiency? It's impressive. Trusting the data and interdisciplinary expertise is critical. Now, we had another stat that was posted about by Frank Saravalli. The Carolina Hurricanes are the first team in NHL history to reach the Stanley Cup Finals with only 1 loss in the first 3 rounds. Since 1987, with playoff expansion 4 rounds by 7 games, you have the Hurricanes, who are 12-1 entering the finals, the 2012 Kings, who were 12-2 entering the finals, and the 1988 Oilers, who were also 12-2 entering the Stanley Cup Finals. Machine, Saravalli writes. Now, might I remind you, the LA Kings ended up winning the Stanley Cup against New Jersey in 2012, and in 1988, the Edmonton Oilers ended up winning the Stanley Cup as well. It was a pretty domineering showcase from Wayne and Mark Messier. So, pretty good company here, as the Carolina Hurricanes set to face off against John Tortorella and the Vegas Golden Knights. But then you dive into Freddie. Sarah Bailey tweeted this out, that Frederik Andersen has allowed 20 goals in 13 playoff games. 20. He's played every minute in the Carolina Hurricanes' 12-1 run and has a shot to shatter a few modern records. Take a look at this. The fewest goals against average in playoff run history. In 2012, you had Jonathan Quick of the LA Kings, who had 38 goals against in 20 games. In 2003, you had the New Jersey Devils' Martin Brodeur with 40 goals against in 24 games. And in 1996, you have the Colorado Avalanche's Patrick Waugh, who had 41 goals against in 22 games. Right now, Freddie Andersen is at 20. If he doesn't allow 18 goals in the Stanley Cup Finals to Vegas, he will take the number one spot on this list. And the fact that we still have room to doubt Freddie Andersen is quite bonkers when you acknowledge this stat. Freddie was a really great goaltender with the Toronto Maple Leafs, despite the fact that he only spent 5 years in that organization. It feels like more, honestly. Freddie Andersen was going out there with some pretty consistent numbers. He had a .936 save percentage as the Maple Leafs lost in the play-in series to Columbus in 2020. Like, that's ridiculous. 184 goals against, 5 games played, a shutout, and you still find a way to lose? No wonder the Maple Leafs moved on from this guy. Freddie Andersen then found himself in Carolina, where admittedly he wasn't the best in the playoffs over the past 2 years. .895 and a .907 save percentage. He had a .927 3 seasons ago, which was really good, but then again, Carolina still couldn't get over the hump. Now this season, he's at a .928 save percentage, heading into the finals with 20 total goals against. That's ridiculous. And to think this is the guy that the Toronto Maple Leafs tasked to be their goalie of the future. Because back when he was the Toronto Maple Leafs goalie, Austin Matthews was brand new in the league. This was going to be a new generation of Maple Leafs hockey. Freddie Andersen was 26 years old at the time, just coming off of a pretty good stint with the Anaheim Ducks and their organization. I mean, look at that. 947 save percentage in the playoffs in 2015-16. That's redonkulous as well. Freddie Andersen was good in Toronto. Now he's even better in Carolina. And he's a potential Conn Smythe winner that's going out there and putting himself in Jonathan Quick, Martin Brodeur, Patrick Waugh level conversations. That is absolutely nuts. And to think, if Vegas wins the Stanley Cup instead, let's say it's not Freddie Andersen and the Carolina Hurricanes. If Vegas wins, they're going to get Mitch Marner, and he's going to be the Conn Smythe winner instead. It's pain for Maple Leafs fans either way. You can let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How has Frederik Andersen fared in your opinion, especially when you consider the way the series against Montreal went? For 3 games, Freddie was off his game. For games number 4 and games number 5, he was back to just being steady. He was back to making all these saves and having 9.2 plus save percentage games. He was a little bit knocked off at the beginning of the series against Montreal, but he's steadily clawed back and now has a chance to beat this record. If Vegas scores 18 goals on Frederik Andersen, which if you map it out, let's just assume 7 games because it's the max. Let's say 18 divided by 7. If Freddie Andersen is able to hold off the Vegas Golden Knights and keep it to 2 goals a game max for 7 games, he's got this record in the bag. I mean, talk about a potential best goalie performance of all time out of Freddie Andersen. I know what you say. You can talk about the goals against purely. You could talk about the save percentage. I think Tim Thomas has the save percentage record down pat. But Freddie Andersen is in that conversation too, and I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, just how badly this has gotten for Toronto Maple Leaf fans. Marner, Andersen, Vegas, Carolina, how do you feel about all this? Let me know in the comment section. I hope you enjoyed this video. Sign on, and bye.